In this episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast, we talk about how to avoid opening your audition video like everyone else, and we also touch upon how much you should talk about being a superfan, all in this episode of the podcast. Welcome to the How to Get on Reality TV podcast with Dan Giesling, where I answer your reality TV casting questions once a week. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast. My name is Dan Giesling. I'm excited to be here and help as many people as possible deal with the problem of opening an audition video. That's what this week's question is all about. Before we get into this week's question, I just want to remind you guys that if you have not yet signed up for the email list, you will get first off, you should, because you're going to get 3 casting calls sent to you every single week. And also, I've started to take the question on the podcast and answer it one step further for those of you that have signed up for the list. And you can sign up for the email list to get a little more in depth with the answers and also get access to those 3 casting calls every week by going to howtogetonrealitytv.net/calls. You can sign up there. It's just a weekly email, and you get a little bit more information than you would here on the podcast. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this week's question from Jen, which is all about opening your audition video, and we touch upon the superfan aspect of things.
Hi Dan. First off, thanks for all the great free content at howtogetonrealitytv.net. Unfortunately, all that info has led to a problem. I now have paralysis of analysis, specifically when it comes to how to start my Big Brother casting video. I realize the first 30 seconds are important, and stating my name and city and age seems really boring. I feel like I have a good grasp on my elevator pitch. I'm a 40-year-old wife and mom, ultra politically conservative, Christian. I'm starting to get my PI license, but I'm looking for ways to make the start of my video captivating. Secondly, a big part of my why is that I'm a Big Brother superfan and I have a very unusual strategy to win the game. Should I play those aspects up, or is it assumed that everyone applying is a superfan? I'll also be attending a casting call. Thanks.
Jen, first off, thanks for the kind words, and thank you for going to the website and submitting this question. Before I answer your question, this is not that this is what it's, I should enjoy it or not, but I do. I enjoy answering these specific questions from you guys because essentially, I feel like this is a way that, Jen asked a very specific question. She wants to know, hey, I'm paralyzed with information, and I think sometimes that's a trap we all fall into, whether you're applying for reality TV or whatever it is. And it sounds like she's paralyzed from information, but in a good way. The unrelated to getting on, well, it is related to getting on reality TV. The best thing you can do is take action. So, you can read you can read the guide that I wrote. You can take the video course, but until you sit in front of a camera, stand in front of a camera, hit the record button, and start getting after it, you're not going to know what's going to work and what isn't. But Jen, I just want to let you know I can totally relate where you're coming from, and but I don't think you're coming from a place where you haven't put yourself out there yet. It sounds like you're just deciding, okay, which route do I take? But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So Jen asks, she says, hey, how do I open my video without the traditional, hey, my age, location, and occupation? So, and she's right. That is about as standard as you can get. And it's what you want to avoid, unless you're, like I said, the thing is, I think the very small percentage of people that can just turn on a camera and wing it and get cast on reality TV. There are some people that can do it because they have a naturally dynamic and engaging personality. I was never one of those people. I'm not one of those people. So, I had to put some thought into it. So really, what Jen gets into, she says, well, how do you open this? How do you open a video? She says she's a wife, a mom, she's 40, and she's a conservative. Okay? Those are all very vanilla, basic, not abnormal things. But the thing that I like that Jen said is, she glossed over the most interesting and unique thing about what she's doing and about her casting story. And I think this is going to help a lot of other people because sometimes you may have a great storyline or a great aspect of your personality or your character, and you just totally gloss over it and not understand it. And correct me if I'm wrong, and send me an email or in the comments, Jen, but you said, hey, I'm a wife, mom, conservative. I'm in the process of getting my PI license. And to me, a PI means private investigator. And if that's the case, that's super unique, super odd in a good way, and super abnormal. Okay, you're, a wife and a mom, we're talking on stereotypes because that's what we have to do when we're talking about, reality TV characters. There's the teacher, there's the whatever. Most moms probably aren't private investigators, and my mind's going crazy in how many different directions being a private investigator is going to help you on a reality TV show like Big Brother or other competition-based ones like Survivor. I mean, that's super unique. So all of a sudden you're like the sleuth mom or the PI mom that catches everyone in the act of doing things they're not supposed to, and that's a whole different character branch that you can take your story down. So to me, and sometimes I feel like when you guys are submitting, audition videos and asking for help and that sort of thing, you're glossing over the things that, that pop out right away. And that's really unique. And in Jen's case, that's a really unique role. And I hope I understood that, PI license, that's the only thing I can think of that it would mean. But, I would definitely take that route as opposed to, what she brought up. She's like, hey, I'm a super fan. Should I play up that route? I mean, that's something where I feel like being a super fan is helpful, but I don't think that's enough to get you cast on a show. Like, rarely do you see someone get cast on a show, no matter what it is, and they'll say, like, Jen, hey, in the chyron underneath, if you're unfamiliar with what a chyron is, it'll say, like, Dan, and underneath it'll say teacher, or, Jen, and it would say, like, conservative mom. That line underneath is called a chyron. Rarely do you see, I don't think it's enough anymore, in my opinion, to see, like, Jen and superfan. You gotta have more, you gotta bring more to the table than that, like private investigator, who also happens to be a super fan and knows a lot about the show or whatever you're applying for. So I always feel like, there's a lot of people that are super fans, and therefore a lot of people are pitching themselves as super fans, but I don't think that's enough. You've got to really do something to differentiate yourself. Not do something, but accent what about yourself is unique, whether it's your occupation, how you grew up, something that's going to make you other than just a super fan, or you're the super fan who also does this, or more importantly, you're the private investigator who is also a super fan. I just don't feel like that's a strong enough. You can't build a character around that whole thing, in my opinion. So, Jen, I hope that that helps you out. I know you also mentioned that you're going to do a video and go to a casting call. Just a reminder, and I know sometimes casting directors get mad at me for saying this, but I don't care. It's my truth, and it's what I feel so strongly about, because through my experience is that send in a video. I know people like to do both and cover their bases, but going to a casting call, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of waiting, and sometimes you're in a cattle call, and it's, hey, out of the best 5, who stands out? What if you're in a group of 5 super A+ personalities, which you probably are. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. That's a whole nother question that maybe one of you guys will ask. But Jen, I want to thank you for taking the time out to submit your question through howtogetonrealitytv.net/ask, where you left a voicemail, and made it really easy to answer your question. And also, I think a lot of people are going to relate to your question in terms of how they open a video outside of that. So, I didn't really give you any tips on how to open it. It's more about understanding, what is unique about yourself. And so, I think I got off topic in terms of, how you can open your video instead of saying, hey, I'm Dan, I'm 40 from Detroit, which I'm not 40, but what you need to do, and this is what, if you're struggling where to start, and this is the big tip and takeaway, because we answered a lot about Jen's specific situation, but if you don't know where to start, this is where I always tell everyone to start. At A1, this is the first thing you do. Write a list of the top 5 to 10 weirdest things about yourself. Stuff that you maybe don't share with friends or family, stuff that you may be embarrassed about, stuff that is nerdy about you, stuff that you maybe get made fun of for, because those are the things that you're going to want to talk about, because that's what differentiates you from the other super fans, from the other 40-year-old moms that are conservatives that are also applying. So that's where I would start. And then, don't be embarrassed to talk about that stuff, because you've got to be comfortable talking about what's weird about yourself, because that's what makes you stand out. So with that being said, Jen, thank you so much for submitting your question. As a small thank you, we're going to send you a free digital copy of my story, How a Normal Guy Got Cast on Reality TV. So thank you, Jen, for your question, and I hope this helps. All right, so that wraps up another episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast. As a reminder, if you guys haven't had a chance to sign up for the email list, where I'm going to take Jen's question and take it one step further and share with you guys some information just for those of you that have taken the time out and are on the special list. Also, you get a weekly casting call with 3 hand-picked casting calls for you guys to practice your casting game. If you're interested in signing up for that, you can sign up for it at howtogetonrealitytv.net/calls. And I promise it'll be worth your while. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next Monday for a new episode and a new podcast, and hopefully getting you guys one step closer to being in a successful position to get cast in the show that you want. I will see you guys next time. Have a great week. Later.